Hello again. Welcome to another breakdown of my Craftsman USA tool hauls. This one comes straight from Las Vegas, Nevada. Right from my in-laws, who are the best. I guarantee no one has in-laws like me, but they find me all this stuff, including this beast, whatever it is. I'll explain that at the end. But lots of cool things here. Some from the 1940s all the way through the 80s. But we'll get into those dirty details right after this. All right, let's start off with a Craftsman 13/16 by 7/8 inch flat ratchet box end wrench. Not too bad a shape, just a little dirty. Let's take a look at the logo, and if you look at the details of this logo, like the pointed A, kind of a backwards Z styled S, the double lines on each end. They used this logo between 1944 and 1967. Alloy Artifacts puts it right around 1949 to 1950. So pretty old, in really good shape, just a little dirty. Ratchet's good. I think this will clean up really nicely. And it doesn't have those weird snap-on symbols, the date codes on it. You can see my other video that I made about those and how much they suck. Forgot to wipe it clean. Hold on a second. Right. That's better. All right, now let's take a look at this number 2 screwdriver, Phillips. I think this is from the late 60s to 70s. Maybe painted over or something. But it's got the Barnyard A. But notice how everything's kind of crooked, not really lined up within those grooves. WF is Western Forge. So Western Forge started making tools for Craftsman in '65, so probably soon after that. But it looks like this is painted, a little gunked up. That'll clean up nicely. Otherwise in good shape. I have a nice 4-inch adjustable wrench. This one I think is from the 70s, somewhere around that time. Nice and clean. It's got only that single line to the left of the logo. Otherwise, the typical Barnyard A. The JW stamp is from J.H. Williams, which made these wrenches in the 60s and 70s, and this is the one with the patent about this square shoulder. All the other wrenches you see here have a round circle there, but this is the only one that you'll see with that square shoulder. I talk about that in detail in another video. I have the 6-inch version of this, and just nice to have the 4-inch. Really cool tool. Next we have a 4-inch punch. This one's in really good shape. It has the Circle G stamp on it, which means it's from around 1955 to 1967. And of course on the back it does not have the warning about wearing eye protection. So this is definitely before that time, so that's cool. And then I have a lot of V-series wrenches, which were made by Moore Drop Forge, which became Eastco, then Danaher, and then Apex or something like that. But this one's pretty old. This is from 1944 to 1948, based on this logo with the tall C, tall A with the point on top of the A. It's got the owner's markings, those 3 notches. V stamp, the double lines. It's a 3/4 inch combination wrench. In really good shape though. Looks like it was barely used. I love this era of wrenches. I have a whole bunch of them. This one's cool. Right around the same time period, I have a 5/8 inch by 3/4 inch 12-point box end wrench. Also a V stamp, but this one has the single lines instead of the double lines. It's also in good shape. Just goes along with the others in my collection, so I'm glad to have it. A little bit beat up on one side there. Not too bad. It's in really good shape. And another one from the same time period. Actually two 1/2 inch 12-point combination wrenches, right from 1944 to 1948. This one has some owner's markings on it, but they're the same V stamp, just some subtle differences. Notice this one's off on the marking a little bit, off on the stamp, shifted a little bit. Otherwise identical, I mean, with those subtle differences. This one is cracked, but you can see how thin that wall is, right? I don't know if anyone ground it down or just wore it out, but the other sides are in good shape. I don't know what I'll do with this one. It's not really useful, but we'll see. And here's another one from the same time period. 7/16 of an inch combination wrench. This one's in really good shape. Not much to it. It's got only those 2 slash marks on one side of the V though. It's a little different than the others. It's got the other slash marks over there in the middle. Kind of strange compared to the others, but interesting. Not sure why they make those differences. I think after this time period is when they really started to standardize, make things consistent, but there's a lot of inconsistencies between them in this period. And then one more from the same time period. 7/16 on one side, 3/8 on the other. This one has the single line on each side of the logo. And on the other side, there's no manufacturer's mark. Forged in the USA though, at around that same time period. I don't know who made this one though. The only thing I do know is that the double lines around the V were from 46 to 67, and then the single lines were from about 65 to the mid 80s, but no idea about that one. Here are some from the late 80s into the 90s. They got the Barnyard A. This one is 13 millimeter, and this one was 11. Both 12-point combination wrenches in good shape. Besides the surface rust, looks like they came in a pair. They have the V, upside down V stamp. Nothing too special, not too old, but good for my collection because I don't have those ones. Still working on replacing the ones that are made in China, Taiwan, and those, so glad to have them for my collection. And now I have a whole bunch of sockets, so I'm just gonna blow through it real quick. Here's a few 1/2 inch drive deep sockets. These are all from the late 80s and beyond, so nothing too old about these. Some V's, double V's, a lot of G's. big variety of them. But all of these are what I didn't have in my Craftsman socket collection. So this is the cool thing about this, right? So I'll go over to my in-laws sometimes and tinker around in my father-in-law's garage, organizes his socket drawers, organize all of his sockets. He has probably thousands of them that he's found at garage sales around Las Vegas and elsewhere. And I give him the best ones, of course, the ones for his collection, and then he lets me just take the ones I need for my collection. So I bring a list along and just fill it up. So I'm filling my collection. Here's a bunch of 3/8 inch, just nothing too special, just ones I don't have in my collection yet. Some of them have owner's markings. And yeah, nothing too special, just a bunch for my collection. So a lot of metric ones that I don't have, especially in the 1/2 inch. These ones I think I have, but in other brands. So I just wanted to fill my Craftsman collection with all the right sizes. Here are a couple of 8-point sockets, which I have none in my collection. So there's a 1/2 inch, 7/16 inch, and that starts the beginning of my 8-point socket collection. Then I have a few 1/4 inch drives that I don't have. 4, 5, and 6 basically. Ones that I can replace other brands in my collection. Good stuff. And now, what you've been probably waiting for, the beast. So this is a 1 3/4 inch 12-point socket, modified obviously. For what? Well, it is a Craftsman, made in the USA. Right, ground down at the top to fit into something. 1 3/4 inch. It's huge. It's heavy. V-stamp 47555. So my father-in-law bought this from a guy who said his friend made it. Right, a bit of the telephone game, friend of a friend, but he said he used it for the rear end of a '65 Mustang. So I don't know much about cars, but my father-in-law does, and he didn't really believe him. He couldn't think of any reason why you would need something like this on a '65 Mustang, and he used to own an auto mechanic shop, so he knows quite a bit. But he assumed it was probably made for some work on a tractor. It's so big. But if you guys have any ideas what this could have been used for, hit me up in the comments below. Alright, well that's it for this tool haul. And if you like old tools, check out my new eBay store. It's called Vintage Tools and Teas. I'll put the link down below. But if you're still watching this, I'm still in shock, but obviously you got something out of it. So please click the thumbs up icon, subscribe, click that bell icon. If you know of anyone else that might enjoy it, please share it. That seems to be the best way to get the word out. Whatever word that is, just take your pick. Anyways, thanks again for watching. Really appreciate it. See you next time.